I almost destroyed my health, my marriage after years of binge drinking, until I discovered how small daily decisions could rewire my brain. What most people don't realize about binge drinking is that it's not about loving the alcohol, but it's about the small patterns that your brain has learned to crave. My 5 years of alcohol-free living have taught me that breaking those patterns is not about willpower, but about strategy. And today, I'm sharing with you the exact approach backed by science that can help you stop binge drinking before it wrecks your life. Hi, this is Alex, the Sober Dad. Thanks for joining me today. Binge drinking is more common than you think. According to the CDC, 1 in 6 adults in the USA binge drink. And this is not just a college problem. Over half of those binge drinkers are 35 or older. By definition, the CDC says binge drinking is 4 or more drinks per woman or 5 or more drinks for a man in a 2-hour period. And even occasional binges can increase the risk of liver disease, high blood pressure, depression, and accidents. So why does this happen? Why do we binge drink? Well, number one is social pressure. Because this happens at parties, at social events, even work events, where there could be a culture of drinking, and binge drinking becomes the norm. It has also become socially accepted to drink a lot and is glamorized on TV and advertisements for alcohol. Another reason is stress, burnout, or emotional escape. And that was my case, because you might be feeling anxious or sad or depressed, and you might be using alcohol in excess in order to remove yourself from those feelings, in order to stop feeling that way. Many people use alcohol as self-medication in order to deal with these strong emotions because of a lack of other coping mechanisms. And then there are physiological reasons, like the habit loop. Neuroscientist Nora Bolko describes this in detail, saying that the dopamine hit from alcohol rewires your brain reward system, and moderation becomes harder and harder the more you binge on alcohol. By drinking in excess repeatedly, we basically train our brains to expect alcohol in order to feel pleasure. And remember that pleasure is guided by a more primitive part of your brain, the amygdala. So that's why, even though you know what's best for you, once you get going, it's very, very hard to stop. And then there's the fear of missing out, the FOMO, the fact that if you're not partaking in the excess, if you're not doing the same thing that everybody's doing, then you will be boring, or you will not be having fun, or you will be pushed away by your friends because you're not taking part in the excessive drinking that's going on. And in the moment, it's easy to think, oh, I'll deal with the consequences tomorrow. And that's how the cycle stays alive. Okay, so how do you stop yourself from binge drinking? The first step is to identify your triggers and plan ahead. Research from Marlatt and Donovan shows that awareness is the first step in prevention. Knowing that you're gonna be walking into high-risk situations will help you to plan ahead. Keep a small drinking diary. Document where, when, and why you binge drink. If you know that a party or event is coming up, plan ahead. Plan limiting how many drinks you're going to have, or bring alcohol-free options for yourself. Planning is so important, and the good thing is that you've been there before. You know how things go, so you're able to recall some of those instances when you drank a lot and then make plans to mitigate that. One of my clients, who's a very social person, really likes to plan ahead and decide how long she's gonna stay at the event, who is she gonna be interacting with, and she brings with her an alcohol-free drink that she truly enjoys. This level of planning allows her to still have a good time, interact with the people that she likes, and be social without having to drink alcohol. Next, when you decide you're not going to drink, it's important that you replace this with something else that provides you satisfaction and joy also. Charles Duhigg, in his book The Power of Habit, describes how routine works in this cue action reward loop. Your brain craves the reward, not the alcohol necessarily. So replace the alcohol with something that provides you with a dopamine hit that is much healthier for you. Run, engage in a hobby, cook with friends, go bowling. Replace the drinking. The key is to keep the reward but replace the routine. So make a list of 5 things that you truly enjoy. I have this list present and at the ready. So whenever you feel like you need a reward, then you can do some of these things. You can engage in some of these activities instead of using alcohol as a reward. So I've come up with a few rewards. Some of them I can eat or drink, and some of them I do. For example, I decided to recreate some dishes that I grew up eating that I cannot find anywhere else here in my area. Or I make myself these juice spritzers with bubbly water and different types of fruit juices, which I really like. Or I also got into the habit of trying different types of teas, and now I sit down with my wife and enjoy them. So all of these activities provide me with some amount of joy and fun, so I don't have the need to drink in order to reward myself, because I have found all of these what I call little micro pleasures, micro activities that give me joy throughout the day. So I don't let things build up, and at the end of the day I have this huge weight on top of me that I feel like the only way I can release it is by drinking alcohol. Next is building accountability and support. The 75-year-old Harvard Grant study has shown that social connections and having people in your life are the best predictor of long-term well-being. Tell trusted friends and family about your goals. Join in-person or online sober groups and communities. Accountability increases your success rate because you're not trying to change in isolation. This point hits very hard on me because I tried to stop drinking and to stop binging by myself for over 20 years. And no matter what I did, no matter what I tried, I always failed. And it was not until I decided to join groups, to be accountable, to allow myself to be vulnerable in that way and share my struggle with others, when I started doing real progress. So you don't have to do this by yourself. As a matter of fact, it's a lot harder to do it by yourself, and there's no need for it. So find people that you can confide your struggle with and get some of this power of accountability working for you. And the final method I have for you is called urge surfing. This was developed by Dr. Marlatt. And the way this works is to realize that an urge and cravings are like waves that come and peak and crest, but then they fall down and wane. So you have to become like a craving surfer. You have to develop the skill of being able to ride the wave of the crave until it passes, so you don't have to fall for it. So you don't have to fall for wanting to drink alcohol and then doing it. Instead of reacting, pause and breathe and see how the sensation rises, but then it wanes. Just because you have an urge to drink doesn't mean that you have to do anything about it. And just because this might feel very intensely, nothing is going to happen to you. It's not like you're going to explode because of this urge. And the thing about urges is that they will go away if you sit with the feeling long enough. If you write them out, you win. And over time, you're training your mind to ride these waves and ignore them. And you're changing your pattern of behavior because now you're not falling for it. You're not picking up a drink every time you get an urge to drink. Breaking the binge cycle is not about punishing yourself. It's about knowing your triggers, identifying the patterns, leaning on support, and practicing new responses over and over again, developing new habits. And every time you choose differently, you're building a new future that you won't want to escape from. If binge drinking is something you want to leave behind, leave a comment and tell me what's your biggest challenge. You might inspire someone else to take the first steps. And if you found value in this video, please share with anybody who you think might benefit from this content. And if you would like to learn how to keep and maintain your motivation to stay sober, check out this video right here that I made that will teach you exactly how to do that. This is Alex Rivera, the Sober Dad. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.